Hey everyone, welcome to More Than Meets These Guys. This podcast is a journey through Transformers from the beginning of the animated series, with two old friends coming at it from different perspectives. Together we will go episode by episode with the occasional extra to look at how the show holds up or if it is a trap of nostalgia. We'll be looking at all things involved in the episode, whether there are real world factors that crept into the writing or if the episode was typical afternoon cartoon fodder. I'm Evan. I'm the lifelong fan who's familiar with all aspects of the franchise. Well, Ed has been always familiar with Transformers. It was really nothing he got into. Apparently, he liked Jim and the Holograms better. Thank you so much for being with us, everyone. Ed, what's up, dude?
Just finishing up listening to Gym Girls, the Gym and the Holograms podcast.
I gotta check that out now.
You should. You absolutely should. It's a good listen, and they make a lot of good points. But yeah, man. But first of all, we did have an occasional extra last episode. You had that little bonus you threw out with the
With David K. Yeah,
interview. That was really cool, and
oh,
what a cool guy. I hate that I couldn't make that one, but that was really awesome. It was a great episode. I'm glad we got that on the show.
yeah. I had a basically. It was going to be another day, and then it got to another day. I think he was out of the country for a little longer than intended, and then I had to jump on the date, and okay, I had to work on his schedule, so I'm just going to get this going. It's half hour, super charming guy, really nice guy. He's very very generous. I get to meet him at PensaCon. I one of those things where you want to meet people that you like, either actors, voice actors, or whatever, and then you meet them. You're hoping they're as cool as you think they are, and he was. So it was really nice.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, he seemed amazing. It was a good episode. I think I am actually going to end up going to PensaCon next year. For our people that aren't on the Gulf Coast, that's Pensacola, Florida's convention. Because so far the guest of honor is Pauly Shore, and my wife is a huge fan of Pauly Shore. Um,
Oh yeah,
Also,
that's
the dude from that played Kaiser Ghidorah in Godzilla Final Wars is going to be there, and my son is a huge fan of Godzilla and really wants to meet this guy. As far as I don't even know. I think that there's some wrestlers that are going to be there, and I get to meet Dr. Britt Baker, and that's so yeah. Hey,
thanks.
but hey, did you know that adults are buying most action figures these days? Have you seen this figure?
I have a funny feeling. Yeah, I feel like that you're just talking about me now. But yes,
I'm just talking about action figures in general.
yeah.
Adults are the majority buyer of these things. Kids don't even care about action figures anymore. But we were talking earlier today because you found a really cool Lego set. You sent me this thing, and you're like, man, dude, it's an Atari 2600. For you youngs out there, that was a very very old video game console. That was what we all wanted when we were 5 years old, 1979, 1980, 81, 82. You had to have an Atari, and it's the most 70s looking console. It even has wood grain on the front of it. It looks like a Jeep Wagoneer.
I
I'm a
kind
big
of
fan, um, but so they made a Lego set, and you were excited. You sent me this. You were like, "Look at this, man! There's an emulator in this thing. It plays the games. You build it, and you play the games with it." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no! You don't. No, you don't. It's there's no emulator in there.
man,
You
at
build the
this
little
point,
cartridges."
palpable.
Yeah, exactly. But then but this thing. So this thing is $240, it's just like a little replica of an Atari 2600. What is the point of this? That at that price point, there's no child on the face of the earth is getting this thing and building it.
No one cares. No
Um,
child cares about this thing, man.
no child cares about it. No child should care about it because here's a spoiler, guys. Every game on the Atari 2600 is bad, without fail.
You can play a better game on these.
You can play a better game on any console. Any game that was worth playing has been reissued on something else with better graphics and better controls and quality of life improvements. The only good game, and I will say the only game that has stood the test of time that came out for the Atari 2600, Yar's Revenge.
It's been so many years since I've played it, but I'm sure it actually does hold up because it was fantastic. There's
I'm talking games that were made for the Atari
Yeah.
2600. I don't mean like a port, because every port on it was bad.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Pac-Man
tell
was
you that.
bad. Um, Donkey Kong was
Yeah.
okay. It was better on the ColecoVision.
I'll tell you, man. We before Atari 2600 was a thing, we actually had an Intellivision. Talk
That
about
was a
wood
good. That was a
grain,
good system. That was a 16-bit system, believe it or not.
and yeah, it had the controllers looked like
Phone.
phones with a little
Yeah.
disc on the bottom.
Mhm.
and you had basically every game you had to put a like a little plastic pad over so you knew what controls did what. It was pretty cool. My brother will always remind me that at one point I spilled milk on the
No.
television, and then that was that. But we had
Oh
a
no.
Atari 2600 after that. So one of my favorite games on the 2600 though is the original Combat that came with it. And it was just like two tanks or two planes or whatever. It was simple. It was like basically blocks, pixel blocks.
Mhm.
But you can play the thing for hours with friends.
Combat was pretty fun.
Yeah, but, yeah, I agree with you most of the stuff. But yeah, so I'm looking at this box. It's got the Atari thing, logo on it. It's it's got dimensions of the thing. Like, so that's kind of cool. I mean, you could really do every Atari game ever made in like a SD, card. Put it in a little little emulator and put it in the thing and call it 20. Because I actually had pictures of cartridges and like you could build like replicas of like the Centipede and then next to Centipede cartridge on the
Yeah,
front of it.
it's like, well, you build the cartridge and then there's like a little vignette that's almost like something from like the cover art
Yeah.
of the game. Because one thing is, I will give it to Atari, because one thing that
Oh,
Atari had in spades, and probably the coolest legacy of Atari actually are those the paintings from the cartridge. They had really good cover art. Nobody
oh,
cares about that stuff anymore, but
yeah. They still did that a bit, even into Nintendo. Like, look at the Contra art on the Contra cartridge. I mean, they did a lot of that cool stuff. Konami did like really good art, but back then, I mean, that was a selling point. In all these Atari games was like the cover art of that
well, because
chunky
the game
cartridge.
was just like a block that went around on a different
Yeah.
color screen, so you had to have something to be like, well, imagine what this was, and
Oh
imagine if
God.
this was really a missile base, and
What
imagine if
is
that block was a spaceship.
what is the game I'm blanking on? I can picture the game in my head where you went through all these different rooms. You can get a key and open these doors, and there was a secret way to play the game.
Adventure.
Venture.
Mm-hmm.
That was the okay. At the time, it was a huge thing because people wanted to find ways to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy difficult because you couldn't figure out where you're going because everything room looked like the same. But if you went a certain direction,
Because it was bad.
well, yeah. But at the time, that was like
At
one
the
of the
time,
biggest
yeah, at the time
games.
is all we had. But
Yeah,
and television had a Dungeons and Dragons game though, where you could like cast spells with that. That game was really good.
I can't even
Um,
remember.
that
I
game
think we
was really
played
good.
football games on there.
But I tell you what was not really good though. Spoiler: Transformers Season 2, Episode 12, The Master Builders.
Yeah,
I'm gonna save my thoughts for a little bit, but
yeah,
this is a little preview of how I feel about it. This is before we get into the episode though, I want to talk
yeah.
about the intro real quick. Bro, we have had, so this entire season 2, we've had these clips of 2 triple changers and some giant dude, and I can see him on your shelf over there. He's a guy that has these big like arcs coming off his back. He has like the McDonald's arches
Oh,
coming off of his back.
Mega Supreme. Yes.
Sure, I don't know.
This one,
I don't know Transformers, dude. I don't know. We haven't seen these guys in the show yet.
season 2 is
This is
very long.
this is ridiculous.
No,
This,
you
this,
have seen you've seen Blitzwing.
did we see Blitzwing?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
on. He's on.
real briefly,
Yeah, he didn't do a whole lot.
I see. I feel like that should be like a watershed. This guy turns into 3 things. He has
Yeah.
3 modes, dude. That should be huge.
Yep.
So yeah,
But yeah, so
I'm just gonna go ahead and lodge a complaint about that. I'm not happy with.
yeah, they got
the
to keep
lack
you
of these
hooked.
guys.
And season 2 is so it's I don't know, it's aired so far out of order. It like makes no sense in so many ways. But I will say this: the writers. I don't think we've had these guys before, have we?
No, this one was David Gottlieb and
Herb Engelhart.
Herb Engelhart. David Gottlieb, I can't find much about this guy at all. Let's say he was mainly a producer, but he worked in the bizarro world of like instructional videos, it looks like, from what I can tell. Did you,
Yeah.
so he's done he did a thing called The People's Temple that was a short about Jim Jones. But then he did a follow-up called The People of People's Temple. Which I'm like, what? I have no idea what, like, why were there 2 different ones? I really want to see that though, because that's very much in my in my realm of things that I enjoy, like weirdo, bizarre cult leaders and that kind of stuff.
Our household as well. But, well, actually, like David Gottlieb, he's worked on a lot of things. He's worked in documentaries. He's worked in TV shows for years. He's still working, actually.
No, he's not. He's dead.
Oh wait, David. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Irving Engelhart. Sorry.
Yeah, Engelhart. Yeah, no. David Gottlieb died in like 2020. It looks
yes.
like.
Well, he worked on like the Jetsons, Mask, and
Well, they both did.
Yeah.
But David Gottlieb's other bangers include Meet Your Animal Friends,
Yeah.
Your New Baby, Talk to Your Doctor, Careers for a Changing World, Grad Night, and my favorite that I have to track down here, Restoring Trinity River. Gotta see it. Gotta see it.
Yeah,
That sounds like a.
I'm all for that. I'm a natural science major.
Oh no, I'm sure that's
I've seen restoration things on the rivers, and
dude.
I've read the dry 50-year-old reports on Bayou Tahar.
I'm sure it's riveting.
It's huge.
Yeah. Herbie Englehart, on the other hand, he wrote some Thundercats, Centurions, Mask, Punky Brewster, and stuff like that. But I can't find a whole lot of like personal stuff about these guys. I like to try to find some facts about these guys, but I couldn't find anything.
Herbie Englehart actually is he's an accomplished American poet. Also, he's got a.
Is that the same guy?
As far as I tracked down, it is the same guy.
Okay.
He probably just left doing this kind of stuff. He just retired from it. He's like I want to say he's in his 70s or 80s now. He's like
he's like a World War II vet or something like that. I think
yeah. Well, he actually he's up there, but I think he only left writing TV. I found some blogs referring to him, and it seems like he's the same guy, but it's there's no one doing a documentary on the writers of Transformers. So unless he's a big name, you don't always see what happens with him.
Let's kickstart it, dude. Let's track every one of these dudes down, dox every one of them.
I'm all over David Wise. David Wise he's a known character.
Oh yeah, we got to track that dude down.
Yeah, so man, this episode opens, and I know where this finally got me. Okay, so it opens to Mr. Humility, Powerglide.
Not a single Rush cassette in sight.
No. But so I'm trying to figure out what Powerglide sounds like, and I realized he sounds like a Howard Hughes. He sounds like Howard Stark from Iron Man. He's like,
Who played? That was that guy from Mad Men, right?
I can't think of the actor's name.
One of the main guys from Mad, I think Sterling, I think was.
I can always picture his face. I never remember his name.
He always plays dudes. He never plays. He can't play like modern people because he looks like a dude from another time. When you see him in the present, you're like, it doesn't compute. You're like, no, this guy is from the 50s. He's from 1955. Like,
they even give Powerglide like perfect lines for someone out of that realm. Like no Decepticon jet's got the zip to zap me. Like, zip zap.
He is the worst, dude.
Well, they're really bad about season 2, and they introduce all these new characters, trying to give them a shtick to make them stand out. And you see later in the episode for Warpath, he's like bang, zoom, like I was talking about last time. Yeah,
like Trax talks with his jaw clenched, like he's got a sweater tied over his shoulders. Like,
he's wearing boat
Muffy
shoes.
and I are going down to the country club. Speaking of new guys with bad shticks, we go to the Ark, and who are these two guys? We have a yellow fire truck. I think it looks like. Is this guy like a redo of? Who's this?
He's a crane. He's a redo of Inferno.
Inferno, right?
Yeah, but he's like the same. They did Inferno. They did Crapple. They did some other things later on. But basically, this is where we get into a lot of the recolors. Like all the Dotsons are like slightly redone.
Right.
So yeah, this is Grapple and Hoist.
Dude, this other guy looks like he's just falling apart. I think he's supposed to be like a Tahoe or something like that. I think, but because the robot form just looks like a bunch of parts like stuck together, and
he's like a wrecker.
He looks like a pile of junk in robot. This is the worst drawn dude. This is it. This is the guy. He's the bottom dude. That's it.
Yeah,
no one is worse than him right now. Maybe somebody will get worse than him in the future, but right now he's the worst looking Transformer. He's also the worst acting Transformer. You know what? This dude is just taking the crown of the worst of the worst. He's the anti Soundwave.
Yeah, wait till you have other episodes like Hoist Goes Hollywood. But
I'm gonna call in sick that week. I'm not putting up with
the Hoist thing with Hoist is like he's a redoing of Trailbreaker. So Trailbreaker is this he's like a Tahoe or like a suburban style SUV.
But he has like a towing package on the back, right? He has like a. It's
like you took a like a beater truck, took the camper shell off, put like all the towing stuff on the back of the truck.
This dude's like Mater from Cars.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad way to put it.
This yellow dude, he's building like, man, dude, it's like it looks like a cyber grail. It looks like a cup. Like he's Indiana Jones is gonna come get this thing. If I had this thing, I'd probably use it for like Warhammer terrain, probably because it looks like a cool little tower. And these guys are a bunch of nerds, and there's all they want is for Optimus Prime to like it, whatever it is. They don't even tell him what it is. Like,
well, okay, I'll give them this. Like, whenever you present like a big model, like an architect would present a model, they say like, here's a representation of the city we want to do, or representation of the subdivision. Or now, like I just finished taking a class in Civil 3D AutoCAD. Here's the 3D modeling of how we want this to look. Here's this. So he basically built a working tiny model of what he wants to do.
And he didn't say that though. He didn't say that. He just said it was just a thing. He didn't say what it was. But then, like, oh my god, we've got Optimus Prime and Spike playing basketballs. We're back to X-Men issue 201 again with this. And dude, Optimus Prime, like, dude, he's pulling this thing where he's like, oh my god, he's like the grandpa that says every word wrong in a
drooling.
Yeah, he calls dribbling drooling because of course he does. And but then, oh good god, man, like he starts spinning the ball on his finger like he's a Harlem Globetrotter.
Man, they were big right there.
And so he throws the ball at Spike and he says, compute quickly. And dude, he spikes Spike with this thing and sends him flying. Dude, this is like a meet the parents level of basketball or volleyball spiking. Dude, Spike is taken out. Like,
he's like, here, Spike, compute quickly, and lays him out.
Oh,
you just see Spike like this, and the ball hits him, he just goes off screen.
Dude, he goes off screen. It was hilarious. So, but we find out that it is a model. After all, it is a piece of Warhammer terrain. Because Optimus Prime's like, that's a cool looking thing, guys. Good job. And then he's like, what is it? He's like your dad. Whenever you build something out of a shoebox, and you're like, Dad, look at this thing I built.
Great
He's like,
job.
that's really
what does it do?
Good job. And that's a good ship you made. He's like, Dad, no, it's a base. So,
I don't know. I would do that with Styrofoam and stuff when I was little. So
dude. So these nerds have been making Warhammer terrain because it's just a model. It's like it's a model of a solar tower. And if I could pan my laptop around, I'd show you that I have models of Warhammer solar towers behind me because I am also a nerd.
Solar towers, really? No, you don't.
There's a refinery.
It's not a solar tower, is it? Does it work?
No, it doesn't work.
It's not nearly as cool.
They said theirs doesn't work. They said it doesn't do anything.
Little panels come out and it like glitters, man.
Mine are painted, look really cool and weathered and all this.
But yeah, they're just like, hey, look, this is what we want to do. This is my proof of concept. This is how it works. We can just get it going. Optimus Prime is like, well, how are you going to protect it? Like, whoa, I didn't think about that. And Optimus is just like, no, you didn't think about that, did you? And
he's so snippy here.
He is such a jerk this entire episode.
Dude, so, God, is this whole episode about these two clowns? Like that's my question at this point. I'm like, do I have to watch these two nerds deal in this entire episode? Because I don't want to deal with this. These guys are awful.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's a problem with season 2 where every so often you'll have an episode where they try to really flesh out a couple characters. And when they do that, unfortunately, the characters are insufferable.
Well, these guys are all. However, I was just about to write this episode off and just be like, and just power glide the rest of the thing. But who's creeping up on the ridge? Oh, the Constructicons. Like maybe we'll finally get to see Devastator in this episode. Maybe.
Devastator?
Devastator. Yes, Devastator. Devastator. Thank you for reminding me of that. I haven't thought about that.
This is actually how I wrote my notes.
So the Constructicons like basically like trap these dudes in this canyon because they're always in canyons, right?
And they were just like peeking over the edge and like watching these guys. And I don't know if they're just like they've been following the entire time and they just see an opportunity where like, well, hey, let's spy on them from up here. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, who knows, man? But apparently they get the entire plan though. They get this whole idea for the solar tower. They get the whole
Yeah.
thing, and then but then they pull this thing where they come out and they're like, we don't even want to be with Megatron anymore, and like they're just like, oh, he doesn't appreciate us. He doesn't let us form together or anything. Dude, I'm like, oh man, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be a ruse, and so
Yeah. Well,
they con the Autobots into working with them. So they want to build the tower to give it to Megatron so they can have a bunch of energy and all
well,
this.
I don't know. I have a problem with this episode. It didn't really say it, but it almost seemed like the Constructicons. Okay, first of all, they don't really just explain it to him. They cut off both sides. They like rock slide on this side, cement mixture
Yeah.
on this side, and then they push a rock slide and trap them up to their waist. And they're like, okay, will you listen to us now? And they're like, well, how can we trust you? Here, I'm going to make all the rocks disappear with my magic gun, and he makes all the rocks disappear. But yeah, they weren't really given Grapple and Hoist a lot of choice. Like, hey, we want to work with you,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to work with us, we'll just trap you. I don't know. But also, it didn't seem like it was a whole thing with Megatron because Megatron. Okay, I think I realized why the villain CRT works so well. Apparently, Megatron, when he's not trying to use green energy somewhere, once again, the episode is about green energy. Of course, Optimus does not want to do it.
No.
Yeah, so the whole thing was, I think Megatron's just been going and opening up rocks and putting cameras on all these rocks, so when he flies, they can to see him. And we get a little glimpse into that right here. This random rock opens up, it like flips the top off, and a camera comes out.
There's a camera in there. I know, right? Maybe that's the precursor to the Rock Lords. maybe the Rock Lords have been here the whole time.
Yeah,
that was from GoBots.
GoBots, yes. Yeah, when the GoBots,
what a terrible toy line. What a boring thing.
Hey, I'm gonna turn to a rock.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you
awesome.
do? A rock.
Cool. I'm gonna turn to a plane and fly 700 miles an hour. The Constructicons, like, they go back to the Decepticon base, and like Megatron like, he's like, so I hear you guys are betraying me, and they're like, nah man, what are you talking about? And he's all like, she shows them themselves on TV. This is like when you find your girl's been running around on you and you're like, hey, I hear you've been talking to that dude. Like, no, I haven't. And so then you have like the proof, you have like the emails, and they're like, oh wait, hold on, no, it's not what you think. Like, oh, I think it is what I think.
Sounds like a story there. Not currently, but I mean, it's one of those things where they got caught, trying to do a little thing, a side hustle. And so he's like, hey, no, we were gonna bring you in on it. So the cool thing about this is, though, all 6 of the Constructicons actually talk.
They all get a line.
Everyone all get a line in this. I've never seen this before. I don't think you'll see it again since. So, I mean, Bone Crusher has a few lines. You only really ever hear from Scrapper and occasionally Hook, though. Hook also sounds like he wears boat shoes to the construction site.
Yeah, he really does.
He does. Him and Drax hang out on the weekends.
So there's a line here where somebody says, like, don't be greedy, and the subtitles say don't be creamy. that was
well, also good advice.
Right, so they're both good advices. They're both
that's good advice. Solid advice.
So there's a construction site, and we've got some non-Sparkplug affiliated construction workers. These are not the same union.
No, they don't even the same outfits or anything.
Not a single yellow boot.
No. I was actually kind of impressed by that.
So was I. We got a different foreman here.
Yeah, they're building an office building in the middle of nowhere.
Also. In the middle of nowhere, dude. They're always building these skyscrapers in the middle of nowhere in the desert, wherever, the Nevada or wherever, right? So, but dude, so the Constructicons show up and start hijacking all like girders. They're just taking a bazillion girders and loading them up into this thing, because you got to have a bunch of girders. But dude, this foreman at the end, dude, this guy's hilarious, man. This guy, like,
no, go ahead, man. I'm just
yeah, he just hides his face behind some blueprints and starts ripping them up, and he's like, I guess I'm done here.
He's like, yeah, that's we're cool, right?
This guy was cool. I liked him. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I had to ask before this, what is with the alerts? Like, hey, Teltran 1 goes condition magenta.
There's a lot of conditions in this one. There's a lot of color conditions in this.
I had that on caps, and we went right past that. I'd asked about that. But so here's the thing about it. I don't understand. Like, the Constructicons did genuinely seem at first like they wanted to do something. At least Scrapper and Hook did. The rest of them were just like, yeah, we'll do stuff with you. they actually seem like they wanted to do something cool on the side, and Megatron's
Mhm.
like, "Oh yeah, we'll do something cool, and we'll take all the energy." They're like, yeah, man, I guess."
See, why didn't they just clear the whole? Why didn't they just go to Megatron and be like, "Hey, Megatron, look, we found this thing. So we have an idea. Why don't you let us do this instead of all this weird like
Yeah, so
sneaking around or whatever?"
I mean, all that he had to say was, "Hey, Megatron, this is green energy." He'd be like, "Oh man, I'm in. How
I'm
can
in.
I give you some seed money first?"
Bernie Bros, I'm in. So
Yeah.
but we're
Yep.
we're back to the basketball. Like so the Autobots are playing basketball this time, and
Yeah.
it's a real bad match. There's a lot of finger spin, some more Globetrotter stuff going on here.
Yeah.
But then Optimus Prime like body checks Tracks and like takes him out and tells him he needs to go get checked out by Hoist. Why? Why
Where
Hoist? Why is he the maintenance guy now?
where's Ratchet? Where's
Where's Ratchet?
Perceptor?
Perceptor? Where's Wheeljack? All these guys can fix dudes. Like what? And why you want to go to this nerd? Like, are you assigned to him? Is his HMO different now?
Maybe he's out of I don't know. Okay, I was gonna make an insurance joke. I can't even figure out the right terminology. So skip
Insurance
all
is a
past
joke.
it.
Well, insurance
Yeah.
is a joke. That's the thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Overseas folks, going to Canadian listeners, just stay where you are because you're better off.
God, especially right now, I'm having a hell of a time. Anyways,
burn it down. So,
yeah, yeah. So, but they do. Okay, so yeah, go back to this basketball game. So I guess they tore down or they pulled up the astroturf for the football field,
mhm.
and they put down a basketball court.
Yep.
How high are the hoops?
That was my question because I was like, well, maybe like Spike had him build one because so he could shoot hoops, but like they're Autobot sized, so like
Yeah, and
Spike doesn't make any shots unless he's like riding on like Bumblebee's shoulder. Even then, riding on Bumblebee's shoulders. I don't know, man.
I mean, Optimus Prime did this leap thing where he body checks and he said body checks Tracks, and he jumps like I don't know 50 feet, and then like does a backhanded slam
He does,
into
yeah.
the
He
net.
calls it a layoff too, and not a layup.
Yes. Yes,
Because
we
of
know you're
course
in
he
the
does.
80s.
He's
Yeah,
he's a grandpa here. So
Reagan's America layoffs. Anyways.
ooh, God, real world factors crept into the episode.
These riders are like, yeah, I'll tell you, get rid of me after this
I'm gonna show
episode.
you a thing or two what's going on in Michigan right now. So see, in his car is saying it too. So you get all the car layoffs, all the
Detroit. Oh, Detroit.
Yeah.
So
Real
disaster code blue.
We got to well, see, here's the deal. Like, so these two Autobot nerds are building this solar tower with the Constructicons, and but so the Constructicons, like, they were talking about how like oh man, we built all these great towers on Cybertron and all these awesome monuments and all this stuff, but dude, these dudes are so lazy and they're like conning the those Autobot nerds into building everything for them. Like, I don't know how to weld, and they're like, let me show you how to weld, and it's like the Huck Finn scene. It's like the reverse of the Huck Finn scene where it's like painting fence is so much fun. Like
the temperature and time. Oh, can you show me more of these? Because they don't want to do them. Or how about the panels themselves? Like trying to get the hinge. Like this is why you have it this way. So when it opens up, it gets the sun. Oh, could you show me all the other panels? Hey, long haul, bring more panels up so I can see how this is done.
They totally con the Autobots and doing the entire thing. This is hilarious, dude. This was really good. But finally, there's another piece they need to put on the top, and finally we get Devastator. We finally get Devastator, but all he does is pick something up and set it on top, and so he just needs to be real tall. He needs to put the star on top of the tree. That's all he had to do.
He does, and he gingerly pulls the little hanger down with a grapple sitting on it, like he just saved the damsel from the top of the building. Like, there you go.
God, what a letdown! What a letdown!
God. It was awkward, and so of course, as soon as they get back and say, it's done, it's perfect, and there's a ground opens up and they fall in. And there's Megatron. Hey guys,
Devastator doesn't even hit him. It was Megatron showed up, blew a hole in the ground, and they fell in. Yeah. This was so bad. And then the Autobots show up, and the Autobots are shooting lasers out of their headlights. Where did this come from,
dude? I know. I said that, like, headlight lasers. Really?
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Well, it's a typical Autobot fight actually because Spike is there. He's in the middle of all the danger, so it's just like everyday fight for them.
Nobody shoots at him though. They don't put him in any peril, I guess, because they
No.
didn't have time or whatever.
Yeah, if they'd gone on longer, I'm sure they would have.
So there's a shot of Warpath like that, like in the cannon on Warpath, and it glints really cool. And that was literally the only good piece of animation in this episode, and it was about like 3/8 of a second long.
They did that once with the Ramjet. Also, he did this like thing where he goes into it's like the sun capture on the jet, it just like a fraction of a second again.
Yeah, no, that was that actually was pretty cool.
That's it.
That was it. That was literally
Otherwise,
it.
Hoist and Grapple are chonky boys this entire episode. They're drawn like stout and wide.
They look so stupid. Both
They
of them
look
look
bad.
awful.
I'm gonna hope this is an ACOM episode. It probably was.
I certainly hope so, man. Was it Hoist looks really bad. That is a terrible like character design.
It's pretty bad.
But
the
oh my
great,
god,
the toy. Yeah.
But here we go. We finally, after all this time, get Devastator actually fighting. Like since he's shown up, he hasn't done anything cool, and this is like since like day one, he hasn't done anything cool.
How long does this merging take? Also, this is the most long drawn out merge.
They just should have made an ad out of that. Like here's the toy ad. Like just splice this off, spin it off into this own thing. Like here kids, play with these.
And I gotta say, how big was this tower? Because they all ran behind this tower. He formed this giant robot behind a tower, and the Autobots are like, "Oh, just go chase him!" And they're driving around for a good few seconds at full speed. And there's Devastator because I don't know. I guess the tower was giant, and he's kind of hiding behind it like a skinny guy behind a tree. Like, all right, ready to go.
Before he was also big enough to put something on the top of it easily, but then also like the bulldozer is one of his feet. And it was giant. Like it was like just the scoop was bigger than Optimus Prime. This was ridiculous. Like the scale on this was ridiculous. And but he's forming, and I'm like, oh my god, please fight, please have a fight. And so they're shooting beams at him, and like, dude, he's so strong. He just like waves his hand, and like the wind like blows these like freeze rays off. This was
hey, having glass gas. And she's this glob of
something or another. I don't know what he's gonna freeze him with glass gas. I don't know what this is. I guess it's just like epoxy or something. I don't know. But he waved it off, and that was cool. And he does a cool thing where he reaches under the ground and then like reaches through and picks up Warpath. And tosses him or whatever.
Yeah, I thought he like fell, but like his hand goes in the ground. Like what's he doing? And you see the hand go bloop.
It looked really awkward. And I think in the hands of a more capable animator, that could have been a really cool, like kind of horrific thing with like, you could have put down like a really cool perspective. But whoever did this was the opposite of a talented director.
It kind of reminds you that the episode, I think it was like, The Ultimate Doom, where the hand comes up out of the water and catches Dr. Arkeville.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
It's great. Perspective scene.
That was really cool. This was not that. This was not that at all. Or like the one from with Dr. what's her name where Ratchet was Dr. Hardy, where Ratchet was coming through he looked like a Sentinel from X-Men, and he had the big hand coming through the hallway. That was
don't
cool.
Forget Dr. Hardy, man.
I can't. I like scientist. She's always in my heart. She's always in my
it was just a bad fight.
The Autobots just kind of win, and
Powerglide does his whole zip zap zoom thing, and like I guess the Devastator knocks down a ramjet, he crashes, and then he like awkwardly makes him fall into the tower, and then he keeps beating at the tower more and more, and Devastator's like, oh no, what am I doing? And it all falls apart. And and then the Megatron them like take off. They're like, oh well, it's all ruined now. Let's leave. And once again, jerk Optimus Prime comes out. They're like, we got to find Grapple and Hoist, and they start digging them out. And Brawn finds this thing where they are embedded into this piece of plate metal.
It looks like they're in carbonite.
It does.
But he just like punches it a couple times and they come out.
Brawn goes bam, bam, and they come out. And then he reads them the business, like, okay, well, you're gonna go back, make sure you're okay, and then you're gonna come back and clean this up by yourself. He's like the bad dad, like, we know you tried your best and it was terrible and it made a mess. We're all gonna go home. You're gonna come back and clean this up yourself. I don't care if it takes you all night. You're coming back tonight and doing this. Like, okay, I guess so. And then I don't know.
You get this wistful shot of
It was
Was it
perfect.
grapple? He puts the little model on the rubble of the tower, and then he drives off, and it kind of zoomed in a little bit. There was kind of a cool scene of like the sun looked really neat there. It looked like a kind of a synth wavy kind of sun, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're all talking like him and Hoist and Grapple are talking like, hey, you know, Hoist goes, there will be other towers, don't worry. And
when
Grapple,
you could, like, you guys could, you weren't allowed to build that one. You built it anyway. You lied. You built it anyway.
pretty much.
The punishment should have been to gotten shot into space and never to come back to the show because these guys were awful. That would have been a more fitting punishment, I think.
I mean, you know, Grapple's all like, well, it was perfect, but I guess you're right. And he's just the worst like artist, and
dude,
he's this guy like, I made my creation, it was a masterpiece, and it's gone now.
Oh,
no, it's come on. Yeah,
what an absolute garbage episode. Bad animation. I hated every character in this. There wasn't a single frame of my main man Soundwave anywhere.
Oh no, he wasn't in there at all.
These new guys are trash. Nothing was cool outside of finally getting to see Devastator fight. That was the only thing that I liked about this.
He was bad at it too.
And he wasn't all that great at it. It was animated poorly, and he didn't even like. I want to see this dude just straight wreck stuff and just be like a complete menace, but he's not. I want to see him devast some stuff.
We get to the 1986 movie, you'll get a good bit of that. So the thing about this also, it was a throwaway episode. It was a filler episode. I mean, the coolest part of the entire episode is actually listening to the Constructicons all talking, and on top of that, the fact that, you know, I don't know, they usually don't ever get any screen time, and here you finally get it, and it was just kind of wasted. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah, man. So Kid Brain on this one's gonna go 2 Harlem Globetrotters out of 5, but Adult Brain just didn't like it at all. So Adult Brain's gonna go 1. Not even a Globetrotter, dude. One's gonna go 1 Meadowlark Lemons Bucketeers out of 5.
Oh,
also speaking of the Globetrotters, did you know that there was a 1970s Harlem Globetrotters cartoon? Did you know that?
Yeah, they crossed over with Scooby-Doo.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Do you know who voiced Meadowlark Lemon?
No.
Scatman Carruthers.
Oh,
the show's very own cool. Scatman Carruthers voiced Meadowlark Lemon, the star of the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah. And do you know where Meadowlark Lemon is from?
Harlem?
No, he's not. He's from Wilmington, North Carolina, the same hometown as you, the greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay, not you.
Michael Jordan. Yeah, nice. No, for real. But also the same hometown as More Than Meets These Guys' own Ed. Right. Yep. So yeah. So 6 degrees, dude.
Yeah. So, well, maybe 8 or 9, but yeah, still, yeah,
it's a few degrees. It's a few degrees. So
yeah. Honestly, man, it was something. I couldn't even get enough notes to fill off 1 page of notes. I'm usually like in a page and a half, 2 pages, like all these great things. Man, besides Prime being a jerk, besides the insufferable Grapple and Hoist, like they're like, oh, they don't understand me. No, they don't understand you. You're brilliant. You're a true artisan. Yes, one day they'll see. That was the worst crud. I can't stand that kind of stuff. We've already got tracks to sound like he has boat shoes on. I don't need more guys being like starving artists or you don't understand me, Dad. That kind of guy. Which Optimus Prime is the worst dad in this too. And basketball. Who cares about them playing basketball, honestly? So yeah, I mean, there's worse. I will definitely give this 1.5, only because I know it can be worse. 1.5 really bad Warhammer solar power tower models out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't go way much lower than that because we're gonna hit bedrock before I keep going that low.
You keep saying that and we keep hitting it, dude. I don't know what's going on here, man. All right.
So that was all filler.
Wow. So that was it. So yeah, that was
look,
that was an episode. All right. That was about
it was a good week to have the David K interview because this is a terrible episode.
we should have had him on for this one. We should have made him watch this trash.
Yeah, actually,
look, see how good you had it. Mr. K? Do you see how good you guys had it?
It was actually kind of nice. I think I told you about this. Like, he came on, and I worked on this since like February.
Mhm.
So it finally came to fruition, and I jumped at like where I could. I had to change the date a couple times, and man, I was a ball of nerves. But at the end of the day, I'm on there with this assistant. Is I don't know what they actually do besides scheduling stuff, and
Mhm.
he's late. I'm going, okay, good. At least I'm not late. He goes, oh guys, I'm sorry. I got a record player recently, and I just got a Nina Simone vinyl in, and I just listened to it. It's incredible. I'm like, I can't hate on that. I started talking about my Yes albums, and he's like, oh, that's great. I need to get Yes. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
you do. Yeah, you should always get
It,
yes. Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
it was just kind of cool having a humanizing moment, which made me a lot less nervous. He's a super nice guy, though.
Nice.
Consummate
I was real
professional.
impressed. I was
Yeah,
real impressed that he liked the title of our podcast.
yeah. He
Because
totally
that
dug
made me
that.
really good because that there's some behind the scenes stuff. The one person that came up with that title was Wilmington, North Carolina's own me. So
I thought you told me I
did that
made
come up
that.
with?
I came up with that. You told me
Did
I
you?
came up with that title.
I thought I came up with that. I
Well,
don't know.
dude,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It's I'm sure it's in like pages of text from like 2 years ago at this point.
I'm gonna spend the rest of the weekend searching for that text. I'm gonna find it.
Dude, if you find it, let me know, because you told me originally that I told you did it. You told me I did it.
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't. It
The
doesn't
truth
matter.
is in the middle somewhere.
It doesn't matter. The show exists, and that's what's important. So
That's it. And
yeah.
yeah, it exists. And actually also thankfully exists in the ears of our community, people who listen to us every week. Man, once again, everyone who comes to the Discord, everyone who stops by and says hi, sends us emails, all that stuff. Thanks so much. Really cool, y'all. And on the top of that, people who share the episode. I know Scott, our friend Scott, who's been sharing on his page for his friends. And we have other people. Danny shares it also, and he talks about it. And I share it everywhere they will let me on Facebook, all the different groups. So it's always a struggle to get it out there, but it's nice to see that it's paying off and people are listening, because like I think I said on the description for the Davey K interview, if without people showing up and listening, we're just whispering into the void. So it's kind of cool that we actually have listeners. And it's always a way for me to hang out with my old friend here every week.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of cool that people want to listen to us, gab about stuff for like an hour. So yeah, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Give us a nice rating on Apple Podcast, Stitcher. I don't know. I don't know if Spotify does it that way. I don't think they do. Whatever. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your mother, tell your kids. I don't care. Just tell someone, and we'd appreciate all that. Come by the Discord, email us. All the stuff will be in the show notes once again. And thanks so much for being there. And Ed, man, good to have you here this week. I felt really awkward, and I felt almost like I was cheating on you because I had to get that interview in. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to think I was like trying to go behind his back. But it was like I had to make a decision, and it's like I got to do this now.
No,
And
I think
you're
I
like,
think you recorded that when I was seeing The Cure. I think actually, I think that was the same day that
probably,
I
yeah.
was.
I mean, so you could have done it. See,
I couldn't have made it. Yeah, I couldn't have made it anyway. So it was no big deal. And like as
Yeah,
much as I would have loved to have been on that interview,
dude.
I've no regrets
Here.
watching it. So
And honestly, that was a tight half hour. I could have gone another half hour, but I agreed a half hour, and I wanted to stay like where I agreed to, and didn't want to make anyone go outside of that. But Samantha, his assistant, who I was talking to a lot during that, she's been extremely cool. Reached out and talk about hopefully maybe in the future we can do something again. So
nice.
I really like that. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah. Anyways, so do you have a quote to take us out this week?
I don't have a quote. I do have an update on SS Beer Works, though. Apparently, those dudes have been dragged to the point where they rebranded and they have dropped the SS from everywhere, and they're just going by Secret Sagittarius.
Oh, that's such a cop out.
I'm like,
that's such a cop out.
I'm like, man, you guys just don't want to own it. Oh, what's going on here? Just Nazi up, guys. Come on, just let that hate come out of your heart. Let's see it. But
Ubermensch, he did a bad move in there, and that's dirty.
I'm like, just brew the Himmler Weissen. Let me see it. Like, let's see what's going on. Let's show your true colors, dude.
Oh my god, I need
true colors. Those true colors are Feldgrau, by the way. I'm sure.
They need to seriously have t-shirts with their SS Beer Works on the sleeve.
Oh my
I would
God.
I would ironically buy one of those just so I could talk about it.
I think
I'll
you're
never
probably
wear it
right.
because I don't want that stuff on my body. So yeah.
No, absolutely
God
not.
no.
So, all right, that's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. Well then, everyone, thanks for being here again. And I'll by the way, I'll be out of town with my wife on our first anniversary. So hopefully everyone does well. The thing uploads fine. We're all good. So thanks for Ed actually let me do this a day early than we usually do. So thank you for that.
All
And
right,
we will see everyone next week. So until next time.
roll out.
All right, thanks guys. The Meets These Guys podcast is performed by Evan Johns and Ed Strickland. Research is done by Evan Johns, Ed Strickland, and with special research help from Boo of the AxalonUnderground.net. Graphics and images in the video portion are created for the podcast exclusively by C. Hooper. Special thanks to everyone who makes this podcast more enjoyable every week.